AnimeIndecision.
Greetings, I'm Demonac.
And I'm Orestria. And this is AI Tries Ajin, Episode 3.
Yep. And this episode, well, more stuff happened.
I think there was more blood in this episode than the previous two episodes combined.
Probably. It's funny that they the way they started out on the road for a brief period is like, are we still in the last episode? But they did get out of that pretty soon.
Well, because one of my big fears from episode 2 was that we were going to get caught in the trap of, like, someone sees Kenny, recognizes Kenny, Kenny gets chased. We find out the person chasing him is an asshole, so that we feel okay when Kenny inevitably kills him, but not without dying first. Yeah. I was really scared that we were going to get in a bit of a loop.
Yeah, so this was completely different, right? Because then they're running away, and then this guy sees and recognizes Kenny, and it turns out he's an agent of some kind. So he chases them, and blah, blah. Actually, it's pretty much exactly the same.
but luckily, it wasn't the crux of the episode. Like,
last week... Yeah, it was much better that way.
Last week, that was the whole episode was about that. This week, that was just kind of like a cold open, almost.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can I say that was probably the most I've ever liked the animation style? I thought it looked kind of cool in the motorcycle chase.
Yeah, I actually noticed that too. I mostly don't notice the animation already, but because it was right at the start of the episode that, yeah, the vehicle stuff with the headlights looks really good.
Yeah. It's giving me some Final Fantasy VII flashbacks.
It wasn't quite that cool.
No one had a giant sword, unfortunately.
No. It's like, you could scream and get him, but it'll probably kill your friend too. So you hesitate, and then he knocks you off a cliff. Have fun. Whee!
I kind of liked both sides of that. I liked that Kenny didn't want anyone to get hurt.
Yep.
And that's why he hesitated. And I liked that the guy was like, well, I don't have to worry about killing my mark, and I don't give a shit about his friend, so I can totally throw them off a cliff.
Yeah, it does put them in a really bad situation when it comes to competent people trying to hunt you down. Because, yeah, they can do whatever. Their plan could be, I will hit you with a rocket launcher. Then I will pick you up and collect the bounty. That sucks for the person on the other end of the bounty.
They could throw them in a garbage compactor and then pull the Ajin out, like, in that.
That would be really nasty. Waiting to see that happen later on, but...
I don't know why I went there. I just went to a dark place.
It was a good thought. But speaking of a dark place... Okay, so they get down there, and he's all hurt. As you had guessed before, even though he's an Ajin, he doesn't just regenerate from stuff. Because when his legs are broken, they just stay broken. Like, that's not good enough.
It does appear that the actual death threshold has to be crossed for it to work. Although, like, damn, Kenny! Oh my god!
Yeah. But okay, so first, Jesus gets back up from the dead. Or at least a very badly burned.
At all!
Yeah, he gets up, he's fine, and he takes out a guy through the motorcycle helmet.
An adult.
He had trouble against the two moron thugs, but now this guy who's supposed to be an agent, admittedly, he took him by surprise. But even you can't just punch through a motorcycle helmet like that. That thing is there to protect you from debris that goes flying when you hit something at like 40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the guy stayed down. I was waiting the entire scene for him to get back up.
No, I was pretty sure he was down just because the faceplate shattered.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah. Now, I mean, he was obviously a little bit hurt, but very not much. Now, it's one of those things, it's hard, because that can totally happen in real life. One person breaks their legs, the other person just gets scratches, but it does feel a little bit weird. He's like, no, I'm fine.
It's a cumulative effect. We've seen him take out two adults in, like, combat, even if both times it was by surprise.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing him be uninjured in, like, what looked like a pretty serious crash, and it's just starting to, like,
yeah.
Can he have an episode where he doesn't seem superhuman?
Well, we'll complain more if this becomes a trend where things keep happening where people should get injured and he's actually okay. Unless it turns out that he is an Ajin, in which case, fine.
It was worth it to watch Kenny kill himself like that, though. That was awesome.
Yeah, see, I was looking at that scene before he sees the knife. You know exactly what he needs to do. Like, okay, the obvious solution to this is you need to kill yourself somehow. But try and put yourself in his shoes. If I were in his position, I could do the math. I know that I'm going to come back. We've established this. We know it will heal you. But I would have a really hard time, like, just killing myself. Even then, because it's like, holy shit, I mean, what if?
And we've established that he does feel the pain from these incidents. He complained before about, like, how much the truck hurt when he was hit by it. Sorry, I laughed at just the context of my own sentence. So, like, that's gotta hurt to cut your throat. And he didn't hesitate. He didn't, like, stop halfway when it started hurting. He just went...
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the way to do it. But yeah, he was surprisingly
Real people
committed.
hesitate.
Yeah, he did not hesitate, and it was surprisingly determined and just quick about it. And then we got to see some other people for the rest of the episode, which was also good, because just watching them hide in the forest is not going to be interesting.
It appears that we've seen the two other Japanese Ajin. I assume Hat Man is an Ajin.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear he must be.
Then we know the long-haired guy who kind of resembles you from university is an Ajin because we saw him using his spirit.
We do know that evil-looking long-haired guy is an Ajin. Although we don't know that they are the two Ajin. Remember, that was media reports that said there were two other Ajin. But there was the guy who was all wrapped up before, right? He wasn't necessarily. He probably wasn't either of them. That was probably another Ajin. So.
Well, I've been trying to keep track of names better than I do when I personally just watch a show.
Yep.
And they mentioned a situation where a lot of fatalities happened, and someone named Shinya. And as far as I can tell, Hat Man is named Sato.
Yep.
And long-haired man is named Tanaka.
So maybe Shinya and the guy who was wrapped up, those might be the two that were known to the public or not. Or I think that the two Ajin that are known to be in Japan before Kenny, I think that figure is probably meaningless to us. That's just like what the public knows.
Yeah, I mean, the agency could know about Hat Man and not have told the population about Hat Man.
Yeah, they seem very afraid of what he would do if confronted.
Yeah, they're very afraid of him, and they wouldn't tell people, hey, there's an Ajin out there that we are not taking into custody.
So we went back to the sister. Once again, someone goes to visit the sister and clicks on her to see if her dialogue has changed. Her dialogue has not changed. She still thinks Kenny sucks.
Still thinks Kenny sucks. She's not a fan. And she, after thinking of some childhood memories, including what you mentioned before with the appearance of the dark spirit or black ghost or whatever you want to call it in the dog scene from earlier.
We learned there that most people can't see the Ajin. Only the actual Ajin can see the spirits, and people who are actively being killed by it can see it, because that second guy in the van last episode definitely looked over and saw it.
Yeah, he did see it. Then again, one of the cops this episode, the last cop, he could see the effects of it.
Oh, that last one. Okay, I see what you mean when it was like scraping the walls there. I don't know. It may only be, maybe they have to touch you first. I don't know.
But the one in the car never touched the guy.
Yeah, it didn't look like it touched the guy yet.
So, in conclusion, we still don't know the rules.
But we do know that most people can't see them most of the time.
And can we talk about how effective that scene in the hospital was?
Yeah, did not see that coming.
Oh my god. Normally when you're watching a movie or you're watching a TV show, you can have a kind of spidey sense that something bad is about to happen. Either it's the music or just the context, or like, hey, they never showed these characters driving from one place to another. Oh my god, there's going to be a car accident. Like, you can tell that something is coming.
Yeah.
This is a rare situation where I had no clue, like no warning, like not prepared.
Nope. And it's something that I wouldn't have predicted anyway. She definitely seemed like she was being set up to be a long-term character.
Yeah, and just, God, it was so creepy. just seeing the thing, like the footprints going, and like she's trying to get this claw out of her chest, but they just see her in like hover poltergeist mode. Like,
yeah, there's blood coming out, and she's been bodily lifted into the air by nothing apparently. Yeah, no, they really played up that scene. It was very cool. Clearly,
Yeah.
What's-His-Face was having fun with that one.
University U is a psycho, apparently.
Well, and that's another thing that we learned, though, is that he can see through the eyes of his ghost.
Presumably he was watching and following.
We see him
along
covering his eyes, laughing about what's happening, and then we see that ghost's eye view. It's pretty clear that he can see through it, I think.
Well, and I'm saying presumably he can hear through it as well.
Probably.
Because I would be stunned if something that happened in that room wasn't the cause of him, killing everyone.
We don't know which one, but there are two things that were said very shortly before it happened. The sister hinted at...
She thinks she knows who the accomplice helping Kenny is. And then the female inspector lady, whose name I will never bother to learn now that she's dead, she mentioned the black ghost.
Either of those things, probably the latter, but either of those things could have been what caused What's-His-Face, who was presumably watching invisibly the whole time, to decide to, let's just kill everyone in the room who we don't need.
Can I mention one thing the show has not succeeded at doing?
What?
Making me care that they're kidnapping Eriko.
Yeah. Again, all she does is dislike our protagonist, even though she's his sister. She hasn't really enamored herself to us.
No. And I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't have a good reason. We don't know why she feels this animosity towards her brother.
Nope.
But if you want me to care about a kidnapping victim, that's not the way to set it up. I care more about the girl from the van. What happened to the girl from the van?
Yeah, I don't care about the sister herself, the same as you, but I am curious why the hell they care to kidnap her.
See, that's why I think it's the accomplice line that got them all in trouble and not the black ghost line. I think they were already interested in her because maybe they could use her as bait, but now they're even more interested because if they can find out who is helping Kenny, that gives them another lead.
Yeah, to help them find him. That's a good theory. So yeah, Ajin episode 3 was somewhat more exciting, I think. And
there were some very, very effective moments. It was really cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to find out what they do about this, and yeah, I don't have anything else smart to say.
Let's see if Demonac can figure out words.
Next time.
Bye-bye.
If you like this, please click the eponymous button. And check out our dorky, argumentative anime reviews on AnimeIndecision.